All right, Anthony. So what we're going to do in this particular lesson is take a look at a couple of different um, important images that help represent the North and the South once we get through the era of manifest destiny. Okay? And the way we're going to do that is you're going to spend some time, you're going to look at a portion of the image and write down everything that you see or notice in that portion. So if you take a look at your notes, what you will see is that you will have sort of two rectangles. Okay, and what you will do is write down what you see in the for the part of the rectangle. The top one, for example, will be first. You write down everything you see in the top half of the image. It's the only thing you'll be able to see on the screen. And what you're going to do is you're going to have 4 minutes to write that down. So you're going to have to set your own timer. You can use your watch to do that. And when I tell you to, you'll start your 4-minute timer. You'll actually pause the video first, start your 4-minute timer. When the timer's up, you'll restart the video, and we'll go from there. All right? All right? And then when you're done with all of this, you're actually going to explain the pictures to someone else. You're going to explain to them what you see and what you notice, and I'm going to give you some additional information that you'll want to make sure and write down, particularly when we get to what's called the similarities and the differences in the two pictures. Okay, so all right, we're going to go ahead and get to that next image, that first image rather. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to use image analysis number 1. You'll see that at the top of the page. You're going to go ahead in just a moment. You are going to start your 4-minute timer, and you'll write down everything you see in the top half of the picture. So go ahead. You're going to pause the video, start your timer, and when the timer's up, start the video again. Okay, so you should have gone ahead, done your 4-minute time at this point. So we're going to move on to the second half of the image, and we're going to repeat the process. All right, so again, you're going in just a moment, you're going to pause this video, start your 4-minute timer, and write down every little detail, everything you see now on the bottom half of this image. All right, so you should be restarting the video now because you have completed your 4 minutes on the bottom half of this image. All right, so this is what the whole image looks like. So some of the things that I hope you were able to see and find include the steam engine that's kind of in the back of it. That would be right back in here, okay? And then you definitely have in this middle section here, you have, of course, you have the slaves working in a cotton field. So that's what all the little white dots, you can see those are the cotton fields. And then you have the cotton here on the this left-hand side here. It's already packaged up and ready to go. And then you have the various slaves doing the different pieces of work. Some other things some people notice, obviously, in the first half, you'll see the clouds. You might have seen the top of the chimney here. A lot of these buildings that you see here, especially like right back in here and over here, these are, would have been like slave quarters. This backfield here would have been a different crop, wheat, something like that. Might have even noticed the dog over here laying in the shade. And then right here, just to the right of the center, this is most likely your plantation owner. All right, now I know it's a plantation because it says a cotton plantation on the Mississippi. Okay, but this is essentially an image showing you the economy and a particular point of view on what it was like on a plantation in Mississippi in the decades leading up to the Civil War. Now, if you missed any of these, I just gave you a few moments there, anything to write down, or if you missed anything or anything else you've noticed, go ahead, pause the video, take a few moments, write down anything else that you've seen now that you've been able to see the whole picture. Okay, so take just a few moments and get that done. All right, so now we're about to move on to the next image. So you're going to do the same process again. So go ahead right now, before I go into that image, go ahead and flip over to image analysis, image number 2, and you're going to go and get ready to do that. Again, you're going to use the 4-minute timer for this next image. All right, so again, go ahead and start your timer. You have 4 minutes to write down everything that you notice in this top half of this image. When you're done with your 4 minutes, you will have restarted the video at this point, and we'll move to the next half of the image. All right, so your timer again should have gone off after the 4 minutes, and you should have written down everything that you notice in this part of the image. All right, so now you're on the bottom half of that image analysis sheet. We're going to go ahead, start your timer for 4 minutes. Make sure you pause the video and then come back after the end of 4 minutes. All right, so 4 minutes should be up. You should have written down everything that you noticed on the bottom half of the image. And we're about to move on, and I'm about to just show you a couple of extra things, kind of looking at the whole image here. So what this image is, now you can see the whole thing. This is representative of the North and its economy. You'll see here you have the train, of course. Right here, you have a steamboat, and then you have this right here. This representative of industry, things of this nature. You actually have the telegraph here. These are telegraph lines out here. Okay, you have a ticker tape coming down, right? And this is sort of like a window that's sort of looking outside, and you'll notice that this is all inside, okay? And so this is just a representation of what the North's economy is going to be based on, okay? So again, it is definitely a different look. And here in just a moment, what we're going to do is really compare the two, see how there may be some similarities and some differences between these two, and what those similarities and differences can tell us about the North and the South in the decades leading up to the Civil War. All right, now your last sheet of notes, it says, you'll see a little place where it says differences and similarities. And so what I want you to do here is just start writing down some of the differences and similarities that you notice. I want you to set your timer for 2 minutes. I want you to take a look at these two and compare them. And I want you to write down anything you notice that is the same in the two pictures and anything that is different, how the pictures are different. So those would be your differences, and of course your similarities is what's the same. Are they showing the same kinds of things? Are there some items that are the same? Okay, so go ahead and set your timer and do that for 2 minutes. Go ahead and pause the video while you do that. All right, so hopefully you're able to come up and see some similarities and differences. Some of the similarities you might have noticed were that they're both showing an economy. They're both showing how the two areas made money. Now, that's also a difference in that it shows two very different types of economy. Your one over here on the left-hand side, that is the South, and that is agrarian. It's agriculture. It's based on slave labor, plantation, all those kinds of things. Whereas the one on the right here, the representative of the North, is about industry and developments in technology like the telegraph and the train. And these are two very key differences between the North and the South. These economic differences lead to some very distinct social differences, and all kinds of things. All right, and we're going to talk about those a little bit more, the differences between the North and the South. But I think these two images really help to see that sort of, it's maybe almost easier to see it in a picture than sometimes it is in words. Now, it is one interesting thing I think that's very much the same, and it's this right here, and that is the steamboat. And it really goes to show how important the steamboat and the steam engine were to both of these developing their economies. Okay, particularly using the power of the Mississippi, the fact that it's a river, but now you can go up river and down river with tremendous speed. So this is both for delivering of finished products, which you would have seen coming more out of the north, and the raw materials, much more coming out of the south. Okay. Now the one key difference, though, you'll notice is that the north also has the railroad in it, whereas the south does not. And this is going to be a really important difference when we get to the Civil War. All right. Now, if there's anything else you notice, definitely make sure you let me know. Love to hear any other feedback that you have on this, and make sure that you go ahead and take this particular image here and explain the two pictures to someone else. You want to make sure that you talk to them about how the picture on the left is it's a plantation in Mississippi and they're picking cotton, whereas the one on the right shows the industrial development of the North.